All right, everyone, welcome back. You know how much we love to really dig deep into history here.
Oh, absolutely. Got to get into the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. And today we're taking a deep dive into the early career of, well, I'd say a legend, Napoleon Bonaparte.
Can't argue with that.
So how did he go from a young officer to, a major player in the French army, all during the chaos of the French Revolution?
It's a wild story, that's for sure.
That it is. We've got some excerpts from a historical text that are, well, they paint a pretty fascinating picture.
Really gets you thinking, you know?
This guy was like, what, in his 20s?
Yeah, barely out of his teens, really.
And already outmaneuvering armies led by, seasoned generals.
It's more than just outmaneuvering, though, right? This is someone who studied the greats.
The greats? Oh, you mean like...
I'm talking Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, the whole shebang. Napoleon was absorbing their strategies like a sponge.
Soaking it all up.
Yeah, but not just admiring them, he was applying what he learned. For example, he was fascinated by Caesar's use of speed and surprise. And from Alexander, he saw the importance of inspiring your troops, keeping morale high.
He wasn't just reading about it, he was putting it all into practice.
Exactly. Which makes his rise all the more impressive.
Speaking of which, can we talk about Toulon? The Siege of Toulon, 1793, that was a major turning point, right?
Oh, absolutely. And, some historians argue that he got lucky there.
Lucky.
Yeah, that luck was a big factor. What do you think about that?
Well, he did have that knack for artillery, right?
Yeah.
That was key to retaking Toulon from the Royalists.
Oh, yeah. His artillery expertise was phenomenal.
Remember how he positioned those cannons, bombarding the British fleet, forcing them to withdraw?
Smart move. Really smart. But I wouldn't call it just luck, right?
What do you mean?
I mean, think about it. He understood the terrain, the capabilities of his artillery, the enemy's weak points.
So strategy, not luck.
Exactly. This wasn't just a random barrage. It was calculated, precise. And that's what got him promoted to brigadier general.
I thought he was only 24.
24 years old, brigadier general.
Wow,
Talk about a meteoric rise.
But, the French Revolution was, well, it was a roller coaster. Even stars could fall pretty quickly back then.
Oh, absolutely.
And Napoleon, he ended up imprisoned after Robespierre fell, right?
Yeah, he did. And it's interesting because it shows how adaptable he was.
Adaptable, how so?
Well, think about it. Here he is, this ambitious military mind, but he's in the middle of this crazy political whirlwind.
Had to stay on his toes.
Exactly. It probably taught him to be politically aware, always knowing who held the power and how to navigate those currents.
Always learning, always adapting.
And then boom, the Royalist uprising in Paris, 1795. Talk about a trial by fire.
That was intense.
The government, the Directory, they were about to crumble. And they turned to, well, who else? Napoleon.
He was their last hope.
Pretty much. And what does he do? He unleashes that whiff of grape shot we've all heard about.
It sounds kind of poetic, but...
It was brutal, but effective. He used concentrated artillery fire, just scatters the insurgents, saves the government.
A hero in an instant.
Just like that, from relative obscurity to national hero.
And then, let's see, it was 1796, he gets appointed commander of the Army of Italy. They were struggling, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, big time. But this is where Napoleon's strategic genius really shines. He takes this demoralized, poorly equipped army and turns them into, well, a winning machine.
How? How did he do that?
Speed, surprise, decisive action. He'd learned from the best, remember?
Right, Caesar, Alexander.
He used it all against the Austrians and the Piedmontese, racking up victory after victory. Remember the Battle of Lodi? He leads this incredibly daring charge across a bridge, heavily defended, inspires his troops and the enemy, totally caught off guard.
Bold move.
It was. These Italian campaigns, they weren't just about expanding French territory. They solidified his reputation as a military genius.
The guy who delivers.
Exactly.
So let me get this straight. He's a scholar, a brilliant strategist, an inspiring leader, and a national hero, all before he turns 30.
Yeah, he was just getting started.
It seems like the perfect setup for everything that came after.
Oh, absolutely. His ambition, it had no limits.
You wanted more.
Of course. At this point, he's a symbol of, well, everything the revolution was supposed to be about. Hope, change, glory. But, his story doesn't end there.
There's so much more to come.
This was just the beginning. These early wins, the challenges he overcame, they shaped him, prepared him for a destiny that would change France, change Europe, change the world.
It's incredible, isn't it? We've seen his ambition, his intellect, that incredible ability to adapt and overcome. It really makes you think, What were the key ingredients to his success? Was it his self-belief, his grasp of strategy, or maybe something else, something we haven't even touched on? We've just scratched the surface here. But this deep dive, it's given us a glimpse into, I don't know, the making of a legend, right? And again, it's a question for all of you listening is, what resonates with you most about Napoleon's rise to power?
What stands out?
What lessons can we learn from his story?
That's the real deep dive.
Until next time, everyone, keep exploring.